Hey everybody, Andrew King here, Canadian musician, live again from Rebel, head of iHeartRadio FanFest. Stacked lineup, as we've said a few times, in no small part because Ria Mae playing tonight.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
EP dropped in the fall of 2017. But we just kind of caught word that there's some new stuff cooking. Maybe another EP later in the year?
Yeah, there's some new stuff cooking. Hoping to get out music soon. I'm just in that stage now of wrestling it.
Yeah.
Where it's all the ideas are there and I'm very close, and it's my favorite part actually of the creative process for me to be in is this part where I see the things and I'm just about there. That's a weird description.
Well, it's still plenty of life left in My Love though, Red Light, Slan. But yeah, I'm curious, with this new batch of tunes, and also the fact, did you say you're aiming for another EP? Yeah, I'm curious about that, the switch from the LP, the debut, close off, going to the EP style. It seems to work really well for you, just pounding out earworms into people's
heads. It's, for whatever reason, it's just, I like the idea of these mini albums, because I tend to write 3 or 4 songs at a time, when I'm in a groove.
Yeah.
So sometimes there'll be weeks where everything I write I just hate, and then all of a sudden one day I'll have 2 ideas. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then the next week I'll have another one that matches that. And so a little 6-song, this is good for me, whereas a whole album to me is just not as natural because I kind of grew up listening to singles and stuff like that. So
yeah. We were talking earlier about Classified.
Yeah.
You collaborated with quite a bit in the past. Do you have an idea as to who you'll be working with for this next batch on the production side?
That's a great question. I think I'm going to be just kind of exploring and working with a few different people for the first time. And that's purely just a selfish sort of, not selfish, but I get really inspired by, working with different producers and something that they might choose a snare like this, or they might choose to do this sort of synth sound. And that I often bring in songs that are the bridge isn't written, or a certain part isn't written, or the post-chorus, because I'll hear some, especially with Classified, he'll do something on the chorus that makes, I'm like, oh, no, wait, I got to do this on the post-chorus. So I leave it open for that. So my favorite thing is a new person. It can be it could be someone that has never produced, My Love is produced by a guy from PEI that's never produced anything before. And it just was something about it inspired me, and he actually emailed me that track, and I was like, all right, this is
okay. Out of the blue.
Out of the blue, he Twitter messaged me, and a lot of people tend to do that. When you have a song on the radio, people will message you, and then Classified showed me this. Classified listens to everything people send him, and I thought that was so beautiful, and I'm not as busy as him, and especially at that time, I was not as busy as him. So I just listened to everything, and it was perfect. He sent me that. Basically, what you hear is what he sent me, and I just wrote the top line right away. The top line is the words and the music, melody, and easy. December 27th of last year, just he sent me 2 tracks. I wrote over both of them, and My Love became the title. So I love that. I just get inspired by sounds like that.
Yeah, I'll expect maybe a flooded inbox now that people know that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of assuming here, but one thing that I know about Classified, both in his own stuff and stuff that he's produced before, but I mean, the man he knows a hook. He knows a hook. And so I'm thinking since the debut LP and Close Off doing what it did, but I mean, you just keep charting and singles that are just getting eaten up in the mainstream radio. So yeah, I'm curious about how those collabs with Classified, and particularly that, borrow the cliche, the pop sensibility, might have informed your writing and work since, even if he's not in the room.
I think something I learned, or I don't know if I learned it, but I've really noticed it with Classified is, sometimes you work with people, and just it's a natural human thing as everyone gets older. When you're kids, you're excited about everything, and some people stop being excited, and it's easy to hear maybe a synth part and be or if I try to sing something and it's not good right away. He's so excited by every sound. I might be ooh, love. He'd go, whoa. He'd stop me. Whoa, what's that? I'd be like, ooh, love. That part to him, he's like, oh my God. And he can't even think straight. And that to me showed me how you have to be.
Okay.
And so I don't get bored. There's so many things happen, if you're collaborating with someone and you think the song's going one way, and you'd have to be anything could happen. The next thing out of your mouth could be the biggest, catchiest thing anyone's ever heard. And that excitement is what makes songs successul. And when you don't have that excitement, you get bored and you don't finish the song,
Cool.
Or you judge it to be something else. So yeah, that's what's special about him. He's a little kid still.
Class from Halifax, Ria from Halifax, Neon Dreams been making a lot of noise lately, Halifax. What's cool, like the city's always, being a creative hub, great art scene, but I think the fact, and maybe you can let me know about this, but just that it is a fairly small center, a very supportive community, that you're crossing paths with all of these different musicians from different genres. John Mullane from In-Flight Safety was the first person that told me to check out your stuff.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I guess all this to ask, I'm curious about how coming up in that environment has informed you as a creative professional, and if there is really that kind of magic bit of ingredients, all these diverse creators living in one spot.
Yeah, there is something special about that community where everyone supports each other so much.
Yeah.
And that's great. So like I had nothing to compare it to. Like I just came up in a music scene where everyone was supportive, and it's funny, Neon Dreams for me like saved me. Like I was in the folk music scene and I just was the worst. I was not the best at crafting those type of songs, and I was not the best acoustic guitar player. And what I loved about them is they were working every night. They weren't drinking alcohol. They weren't doing drugs. They were working every single night. And I was like, I didn't feel like I was like as cool as them, or like they were doing EDM at the time. They weren't doing pop.
Yeah.
And so there was no reason for me to be around them, but I needed to be around them. And I was like, can I just come hang out? And I would go to their studio. And this is like so long ago, like,
Wow.
Before any of us had any hits, anything. And I would just be like, I wanted to be next to Corey LaRue because his work ethic was amazing. And I wanted to learn from the guys, and they were so positive. And it's like that, I credit them for like, there was, changing how I got out of my just bubble. I was sick of myself, and they just helped me like explore different types of music, and just their energy is so amazing and so supportive. I don't know what tangent I got on there, but...
No, I appreciate it. On a similar note, like, yeah, your stuff is very diverse. There's tinges of a lot of different genres in there. I mean, obviously, pop at the center, just because so much of it is just so sticky and undeniable. But yeah, I'm wondering, with all those different ingredients, you've been able to tour and perform with a lot of different artists.
Yeah.
I'm curious if that just is kind of like a positive feedback loop where like you're getting in front of different types of crowds and getting to interact and work closely with people that may not necessarily sound like you.
Yeah.
I always call it like the Chameleon Sound, where
Right.
I think your stuff has so many bits and pieces that it works well in a lot of different environments.
Right.
Is that something you found?
Maybe it's not intentional, but I think the intentional thing for me is like, in order to make money when I was starting out, like I would do house concerts,
Right.
And it would be like, older people, and so I would bring my acoustic guitar, and I'd learn how to talk to people and banter with people, and then I would get offered a show. Like the city would pay $1,000 for it to be a band. I'm like, ah. And I just wanted the people in the audience to not be bored and to be. I was like, I just wanted to please everybody, And then of course, as you get successful and you have people coming to you, you can sort of get your own thing going. But I still have that element of like, I want it to be the best show, and it's an honor to be on the radio, and I want people to enjoy the songs, And I think that catchy is catchy, and I love all different types of music, and like, yeah, it's just. Yeah, I can't speak for. I don't know if that's different than what anyone else feels, but I think I just try to take things that people would like, instead of trying to like be cool or trying to fit in. It's just like it's entertainment. At the end of the day, I want, I wouldn't do this if it was just for me, because I could just sit at home and, not be in a van for 15 hours a day. Like I'm doing it because I want to show people. Like that's, my favorite thing. So. Right
on. On that note of showing people again, FanFest, iHeartRadio FanFest happening at Rebel tonight in Toronto. If you're around, get down here. So yeah, like thinking about the track that you mentioned with that dude from PEI that sent you the
Jordan
beat
Woodside.
out of the blue. Yeah. Shout out to Jordan.
Jordan with a Y. Find him on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, when you are working on tunes, especially when you're in the studio and working with different producers, different writers, beat makers, do you, and I've asked this question a couple times today, I'm really interested in your response, your take on it. Yeah, when you're working on something that you're going to record and put out, are you thinking about how that's going to translate to the live environment kind of at the time, or is it more the case like that's going to be its own project, standalone, speak for itself, and then we'll go back and figure out how that's going to translate?
Yeah, I don't think about the translation at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think about the song. Like I sit through and over and I hear the weak spot, like when the energy dies. I'm like, nope, scrap it, something has to happen there. I don't think it would. Otherwise, yeah, that would kill me. That would ruin my headspace, I think.
No, that's interesting. Thanks for letting me get up in your headspace and pick your brain because not to butter your bread, but I think I made it clear here. Like I really like your stuff because it's like just so undeniably hooky, as we've said, but there's just a lot of substance in there musically and lyrically, and you know, it's like not a cheap trick, and just keep going back to that. Well, awkward praising you on camera, but yeah, Ria Mae, Halifax, check it out tonight. My Love's still out there, Red Light, the single, current single, and some new stuff coming soon. What about summer plans? Anything on the docket? Actually, we heard from Sean earlier, you're playing a Newfoundland Fest with him.
Yeah, I'm heading to Halifax tomorrow, and I'm going to spend some time there. And then I have a festival, Fredericton, Canada Day, festival in St. John's, 14th of September. A bunch of maritime stuff coming up. Yeah.
Right on. Well then, from PEI, I'll be enjoying that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.